So, hello, Kevin.
Hello.
Thank you for your. This is very short notice. We just were chatting on Twitter and when could we go get together and make a little talk, a little interview, and here we are, half an hour later, basically.
Yeah.
So thank you for the short notice and for the time you have. So maybe tell us a little bit about you and your music project, Spankraght. How do I say it? Spankraght?
Yeah. You can say it. It's difficult to say. In Dutch, you say Spankracht.
Spankracht.
And in German,
Spankracht. I can say it.
If you pronounce it in a German way, you could say Spankracht.
Spankracht.
Like this.
Yeah, right on.
But it's for English speaking people, it's usually a problem because it's how do you pronounce it? The English people usually say Spankracht.
Mm-hmm, I see.
So for those who don't know, it's written like this.
Mm-hmm. A little bit. Oh, okay. I will link to your sites anyway. So people will find it.
That's the band I play in. We were two people.
Mm-hmm.
It's me and Wim is the other guy in the band. So I play guitar, I program drums, do the synths, and Wim, he plays the bass in the band. And we're two people, and we started back in 2015, but we've been playing together now for more than 15 years in different bands. Okay. So we started playing together in a band called Tut Russell back in 2004. And that was a band that played groovecore, some form of new metal, really groovy metal, easy to listen to.
Cool.
A bit aggressive. So I did vocals in that band. We were 4-piece. And then in 2007, we decided, me and Wim, to start something else, something heavier, faster, more industrial. And that band was called NDT, and it was short for Notti del Terrore, which comes from an Italian horror movie, a zombie movie from back in the day, like in the 70s, very bad movie, Notti del Terrore. Also known as, the English title is Burial Ground.
So, I've heard of this one.
Yeah, it has there's a midget. It's not really. Yeah, it's a small guy who plays a kid of 10 years old. So it's a really creepy movie with bad effects. But yeah, the title had something. So we chose Notti del Terrore and we shortened it to NDT. We ended up being a 4-piece again. It was Fear Factory-like metal, so a lot of Fear Factory, Strapping Young Lad influences, very fast, electronic samples. And in that band, I played guitar. At first, I did the programming because in the beginning we didn't have a drummer, so we programmed everything. And then along the way, Frederick came in the band, and he was a drummer. We put out 2 albums independently. And then in 2015, I decided it was enough because it wasn't going anywhere. Not that Spankracht is going anywhere, but that band was really not going anywhere.
But why? I mean, it sounds like a 4-piece. I mean, you can do live gigs because the limitation with what you have right now is. Anyway, why wouldn't it go anywhere?
I think because we were never live up to par with what we wanted to bring.
I see.
Because we had the samples running and stuff, so I did vocals, I did guitars, and I think that the best setup for that band would have been if we hired an extra guitarist and I just did vocals and samples. But live didn't seem to gel like it should. And I think the last gig we played, I was playing and I really had this feeling like, what am I doing here? It does not work live. Because people liked us. There were people who liked us, who liked the songs. And then usually they came up to us after a gig and they say, wow, you guys, you're tight. You're this and that. But I never felt very satisfied with with that.
Okay, so your vision was already more than what you could kind of provide, and that's why you were not happy with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the drums on the album were programmed.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of crazy stuff with those drums, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And to get a human drummer in there, you have to be like Gene Hoglan or that type of guys. But so
you had to be a machine, basically.
Yeah, even or more than a machine. So that was a problem, and it was frustrating that you couldn't get and just the feeling wasn't there. I never got that energy back from the crowd that we wanted to bring to. So in 2015, and I also had the idea to do more with electronics and guitars, find that right balance between beats and guitars, because I never felt that there's Sardonic.
I know Sardonic. I mean, I don't know him, but I know that's cool stuff. I really like it.
Yeah, he lives in Germany now.
Oh, really? I should talk with him. If you have contact, just hook me up with him, or I can contact him myself, I guess.
Yeah, I think he lives in Köln, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's from Venezuela and he moved to Europe some time ago and he's in Germany. And he's very accessible because.
Okay, I will. I think the radio station I'm working for, we play him quite a lot. So I think it should be easy to get a hold of him. I kind of forgot him for some reason, because I found him once and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool music.
Yeah.
And okay. Anyway, but now we stay with you. Sorry, you wanted just to say you were never really satisfied with your band before.
And so we wanted to bring that new style of beats, or I never felt that there was the right balance in that type of music, where the beats were heavy enough and the guitars were heavy enough. Sardonic does that. Rave the Requiem is a band from, I don't know, I think Finland, who does that too, mixing drum and bass. Rave the Requiem, who mix drum and bass with heavy guitars. But then you've got industrial bands like KMFDM, Ministry, but they still have a lot of rock elements to it, because they usually use a drummer. You've got the more electronic side of KMFDM, like the Symbols albums and stuff. And then you've got the more rock albums like Nihil, Extort, but never really a bass like where the Prodigy's too few guitars, but the beats are great. It's always too much of one thing, and we wanted to bring that balance.
I see. So you basically decided to make the music you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
You never found.
And so we started experimenting with synthesizers, with beats, and I asked Wim, and he was up for it, to do it together with just the two of us, because it's easy, just two guys, no more other people. You have to ask if they like it or not, or blah, blah, blah. Just two guys, easy. And that's when we started, and we started making those songs. And one of the first things we did was a remix from a song from the band Shining from Norway with the saxophone. So they had their stem tracks put online for the track The Damage and the Madness Done. Is it that track? Yeah, I believe so. So they put those tracks online. They said, hey, do with it what you want, remix it, make a new track, whatever. And I made a remix, and somehow through Twitter they heard it and they thought it was cool. So that was the first thing from Spankraght we did. But in the meantime, we were writing songs, making songs, very, very basic. I programmed some beats. So I had a drum and bass beat going, and then I just went along with the guitar. So the riffs were very basic in that begin period. And that's when we started to do our thing. And after, so we had the Shining thing, and through that I got in contact with the frontman of that band, Jürgen, who plays the sax, and I asked him if he would like to play sax on one of our tracks. So we played the saxophone on Nitro, and that way people got to know us more. And then we decided to use masks, because someone said, yeah, the two of you, it's cool, the music is cool, but just the two of you is boring to look at.
Other people use dancers or something like this. We
were like, people just just have to dance and listen. What we look like is not important. But they said, yeah, you have to have something visual. So that we were like, okay. what are we going to do? And so we came up with the masks, and now Wim, he's an electrician somewhat. He knows a lot of electricity and that stuff. So we made the masks, and the first masks we had were like with spikes on them, and we had lights here in the brows, and we had uniforms and that stuff. And we did like 4 or 5 shows, and our second show was as support act for the French band Punish Yourself.
Okay.
So there was a gig for 500 people, so that was the second gig. And we felt, when we played this time, the live vibe was better. Just the two of us, it was better, and you felt that the people were getting into the energy we brought. And so now we just released our full album after, it's now 2020, so after 5 years of existence. We just released our first full album, Thou Shalt Drown in the Blood of Thy Children.
Very nice, like you can write a children book or you can make an album, whatever. You have a happy life, right?
Yeah, I'm a very, very happy man.
Yeah, no, and the artwork is really, and anyway, there's so many questions because you also have a tie-in with Doom or something, Doom 2, right? Hell on Earth. So just one question before we dive into this, because you said, you felt live more at home, but with 2 people, this means there's a lot of backing tracks, right?
Yeah, it's
so in a way, what I'm kind of saying is kind of, in a way, you are less live now, but you feel more at home with it. So is this correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it's less people. The only thing I have to follow is the machine. With a real life drummer, you have to know that the drummer knows the tracks, and he knows. So you always have this feeling about what if he screws up, the machine doesn't screw. With 4 people in a live band, everyone has to take the other one in account. So you got to look at the bass player, you got to look at the other guitar player, you got to look at that one, see if everything works, if nobody fucks up. Because if the other one fucks up, everybody has to step in. With this, the machine goes. You're a slave to the machine. You have nothing to say. So the machine starts, and the only thing you got to do is play your part. I play my part. Wim plays his part.
But my point is you are also less. I have played in bands before, and then if you play live with a real band, with a 4-piece band, then you just can look at each other and say, okay, let's put on another chorus, and you're stuck to the set patterns you give yourself. That's what I mean. So it's kind of less live because you're performing to a backing track, to a playback. But you're still feeling better. It seems like.
Yeah, I just have to mind my own guitar, because that's the only thing I have to do: play the guitar and just get into it. That's the less things to worry about. Is just get into the guitar, and then you get that vibe. You really can focus on that.
I got your point now, because your mind is taken off of your worries. You can really get into it. I see. Okay, that's a good point. I wasn't really thinking of it.
There's also that point because people are going. The thing is, when we did the first shows with NDT, Notti del Terrore, we also used a drum computer, and there people were like, "I'm missing a drummer. There's no drummer." What we are doing now, we have never had that issue. People have never complained about the fact that we don't use a drummer. Probably because the drums we use now sounds less like a real drum. Like the beats we use are techno beats. So they have a kick sounds more techno. Where in NDT we use drum samples, so the drum sounded like a drum, a real drum. So I think, but now people don't complain about it.
Has kind of shifted. Yeah. So you kind of, I see. I get your point. For me it was just funny because I would have seen it the other way around, that you're kind of slave to the machine, as you said, that it kind of is more worrisome because the machine is always right and you can do mistakes, but you kind of you switch it around because the machine is always right. You are more free to do whatever you want to do. That's a nice. That's good. It's a nice thought. I never saw it this way. You shifted my perspective a little bit. Anyway. You were in front of 5 people. That was 500 people. Sorry, this was your second gig, and you had your mask on, and you wanted to say something about the mask, maybe, or how you felt about this gig.
There was. We got that somebody mailed us. Got in contact to us through Facebook, and he asked, can you play for the band Punish Yourself as a support act in Brussels? And we're like, oh yeah, okay, second gig, 500. Yeah, we did it, but we were the first support act. So before the show started, we both were talking to some friends in the venue, and we looked, and there were not a lot of people there, like maybe 50 people. And it was a semi-large venue. So we were like, oh, okay, 50 people. Who cares? We're just going to have fun. So we went backstage, put on the masks and stuff. And we came on, and the place was packed. So we were like, oh, my God. And the thing is, you've got those masks on, and then you somewhat become a different person. Because people cannot see what you do with your face. And you can look at them, but they have no idea what's happening. So that was kind of fun. But the other part to those masks was, we didn't see shit. Like, it was dark.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So the eyes were fully closed. I got the new mask here. So if you look at this mask, this is a new one. So this one has like a hole in here. So you can here, and this thing is closed. Now with the other mask, the other one was closed too. So if you put this on, you don't see shit. And then we had lights. We have our own light rig we can use. So when the light's in your face, you don't see anything. So, but it was fun to do this with the masks. And we also did one gig without the mask when we were recording our full album. Because we had disassembled we have our own light set. We disassembled it because we were busy with the album. So we tried to play without it. We did a show for Ostfront.
Oh, Ostfront! I really like them.
Yeah. We supported Ostfront in here in Belgium. That was like 2018, 19. So, but then we were in the recording process, and we just had like, we're gonna put on those masks. We're just gonna play with ourselves, see how that goes. So we also had fun playing maskless.
Okay.
But we were preparing ourselves to put up a new show now with the album. But then Corona happened, so those things were put back into the fridge. So I wrote a new album, so we're studying that for the moment. But the thing might be, we've had discussions about this. I think we might drop the masks in the future. Because, like I said, it's one thing, I feel comfortable playing the guitar. Like I said, it's makes me. But these masks take a bit of energy away still. So I want to feel fully comfortable. I'm almost 40 now, so putting on those masks, I think it's I want to have more interaction with the crowd and with those masks.
This would be exactly my point. I have a little bit of an acting background and stuff, and for me, putting on a mask would be kind of the most opposite I would ever do, because I cannot act with my face, and I cannot really. I mean, like you said, it has a certain charm, and it has something, and it puts on a distance, and you will be still a different person on stage. But you don't. I think maybe it was a crutch in the beginning. You needed something to feel comfortable, and now you're kind of outgrown this phase. Like Paradise Lost. I'm pretty sure we started like growling, and now we're singing. So we started with that because we kind of like and now we don't need this anymore and can still do heavy music. And so it's like an evolution. You outgrown this phase.
Yeah, but it's also in the beginning you needed something to draw attention. this is where the mask comes, you make the look. But now with the reviews for the album, we notice that people don't really care for that look, for the masks. All the reviews are about the music. People talk to us. They talk about there's some people that say, oh, we like the masks, but mostly they say, oh, we like the music. So the music is more important. We also got more singing parts now, so I need to do those live too.
Yeah, this was a question. I was like, you had what's his name, Zack Tell from Clawfinger. How could you? I mean, this is for me, I'm a little bit older too. So Clawfinger was this German band, kind of motherfucker and all this songs. How could you? I mean, how did this come to pass? How could you get him to sing on your track?
A good friend of ours, Yves, who's also on that track. This is a track Resilient. He's also on the track. It's probably years ago. He went to see Clawfinger somewhere, and he noticed that Zack Tell had a Frank Zappa tattoo on his arm. Now, Yves is also a huge Frank Zappa fan. So somehow he got in contact with Zack, and they started talking about Frank Zappa and their mutual love for that. And he and another guy, Tommy, became good friends of the band Clawfinger. So when the guys in Sweden had a new album and stuff, they went over there and they went to listen to the album. Of if they did shows, they were always welcome. They were put on the guest list. So they're very good friends with that band. Okay. And I had the idea, like Yves, he just like 3-4 years ago, he started singing in a rock cover band with no experience. Somebody said, "Yeah, I heard you sing. I think you sing okay. Would you come and sing in our band?" And I said to him, maybe we could ask Yves to sing on a track too. And I said, he'd like that. Wim said he'd like that. It'd be cool. And I thought, well, if we get Yves on there, what if we ask Yves if Zack would be up to it too?
Cool.
And because Yves was a fan from the band Clawfinger from way back, so he's a fan of the band. Wouldn't it be cool if they finally had the opportunity to come together on one track, put those guys together? So on Facebook, I said, Yves, you want to sing on a track? Oh, yeah, cool. I said, what if we bring in Zack? Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, I'm going to ask him. He said, I'm going to do that. Oh, it's going to be cool. It's going to so fucking awesome. I'm going to do that. So, but week after week, I was mailing him, and you got an answer? You got, yeah. He wants to hear the track first. Yeah, okay. Then he wants to read the lyrics. Okay, I sent him the lyrics. So finally, I sent him the track. And I said, how's it going? Because we're almost ready with mixing. We still need his voice. We got 2 weeks left, and then we have to take this album to mastering. Yeah. I'll mail him. Okay. Now one day he finally did it, Zack. Apparently he had to get the kids out of the house or something.
I know this.
Yeah,
and you know this too, I guess.
Yeah. So he set up his microphone. He did his thing. He sent the files back to Yves. Yves sent the files to us, and then we heard the files, and they were like, "Oh my God, it sounds awful." But the performance was okay, but it sounded like he had recorded this in his bathroom or something like that.
I see, yeah.
So, yeah, and I was like, oh my God, we cannot go back to ask him, could you do that again? Because we had wasted so much time. So I had to run those files. I sent those files to someone I know who processed them, tried to get. I said, I want to get the bathroom out of the singer. Get the bathroom out of the singer. Oh yeah. So we had to do a lot of stuff on those vocals to get them right, to sound okay. So finally we had them right, and we were happy that the result. That Yves was very happy with the result. He's also said that Zack was also happy, but according to Yves, Zack is not a person who's very easily
enthusiastic or
yes.
outgoing and showing his appreciation.
But he was okay with it. So but
that's enough. That's enough.
It was a struggle to get the vocals. It was a struggle to get the vocals on there very in a in a good way. But it was cool. But people were saying like, "Oh my God, you got sacked from Clawfinger on the."
Like I said, it was like, wow. I mean, see, but this is a really nice point. This is what I anyway like to do all the time, just to network, just to know people. And I mean, now we're in this stupid COVID-19 shit, but you played with Ostfront. Ostfront is a German band, so I mean, you come to Germany. I know people who can support you, or I even can support. Anyway, this is cool stuff. I like to network. I like to just because you never know how things work out, and so it's cool. So just because you know this Eve guy, he knows. This is a really nice story.
Yeah, and all the vocalists were like, there's Alex Agnew on there. He's a very famous stand-up comedian here. He also he had a band called Diablo Boulevard, who toured with Machine Head, with Life of Agony.
Wow.
Then there's Frankie de Smet van Dam. He sings in the band Channel Zero, who were very popular here in the 90s, still are popular here, but they had a break. And then they came back now with Mikey Doling from Snot and Soulfly. He used to play in Soulfly on guitars. So he came in too to do some vocals. And then also friends of ours who did some vocals. I just wanted different types of vocals, types of people, because we wanted to tell that story of this world collapsing. I wanted to have different people from different backgrounds, from different parts of the world, to get a global feel, because the story on the album is about a world apocalypse, sort of. So we had these different influences on there.
So you were kind of foreseeing the future now with the pandemic, pandemic roaming your Nostradamus, basically.
Yeah, we've had people come up to us and say, "You stupid bastards."
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Because they were like, you predicted this shit. It's all your fault. Yeah. Now I cannot do festivals this summer because you fuckers had to make this album. And when last year when we were making the artwork, when I sent the idea to Bram.
Really cool artwork, by the way. Really cool artwork.
Bram Braneel. For those listening, Bram Braneel. He does a lot of artwork now for different bands, also international. And this one, so this one is, I think, the only one of these who is in color up till now, because I wanted something colorful. So I did the coloring myself, because he doesn't do coloring. But it turned out very great. But when we were talking about the album, I said I want the cathedral, the Antwerp Cathedral, burning. I want the entire city. When I got the first sketch, or one of the first sketches, I think the same week or 2 weeks later, the cathedral, the Notre Dame, was burning in Paris.
Okay.
So.
You're Nostradamus. Now I'm getting. Tell me that I will be rich in next week or something, something like that, and it will become true. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. So I'm also afraid to put on the album, because you never know what happens.
Yeah, no, I saw the artwork. It was really nice. It was like a comic style, and how did the Doom 2 Hell on Earth thing come about? So you have your own levels where you put on the music for the levels. How did this come about?
Usually people, we have one real video online on YouTube, a real video clip with us playing. As for the track called Enjoy, it's from a couple of years ago. But now I was like, I don't want to do videos. They're always the same. You know, when you see bands playing, they're playing in a factory or in the woods. Same effects, smoke effects, always the same. I was like, we have to do something different to promote these tracks. You get these tracks out there, and like I always feel like the music we make is suitable for video games, first-person shooters. And I've been a Doom fan for years. In my teens, that was the only game I played. I didn't come outside a lot, so I played a lot of Doom. And I was also a modder back then, so I made a lot of Doom levels. And it stopped in 2000. I stopped making levels because you get other interests and stuff. And 2 years ago, I started building again. I started making Doom levels. And then the idea arose like, okay, if I just made 6 levels and put our music under there and adjust the Doom title screen, make it the artwork of the band, the menu, just have people experience the music as it should be experienced, by killing off dozens and dozens of demons by destroying
your music has a positive message after all, right? Doomsday and killing.
Yeah, no, it's like when I go and see, like say, if I go to see a comedy, I want to laugh. I want to laugh. I want to have fun. If I go and see a horror film, I want to be, I was scared.
You want to be.
I want to be grossed out. If I see an action film like the last Rambo 5, where he lost, like in the last half hour kills like 800 people. That's an action. I want to see thrills, and the same thing with the music. This music, you gotta feel, you gotta play, you gotta feel pumped up, you gotta go, wow, action. That's how I wanted people to experience Diablo. And the Doom community, in the Doom community are a lot of metalheads, so it's a way to reach out to another audience. And so I pitched the idea to him, and he was like, yeah, I don't know Doom, I've heard of it, he said, but okay, but hey, trust me, I said, I will make the levels. And the more he saw, he was like, yeah, I get where were you going to. And then we also had the idea to bring out the album in a big box, like old PC games from the 90s. There you could buy them in these nice boxes as a collector's item. So I pitched that idea to him. I said, we bring out this big box, we put in the CD, a Digipack CD, and we add a USB stick with those levels on there, the album in digital form, and some remixes or other mixes. And he was like, oh yeah, okay, what's the cost? So we calculated how much that would cost for us to make. So eventually we had to start a Kickstarter campaign to get the entire thing off the ground. But we made it.
And you made it.
Yeah, cool. So we have these boxes.
But you have 4 left for those interested. 4 left. So and in there we have it's closed now. But you have the CD, a USB stick, a sticker, and there were really people who just collect big boxes, who just bought this for the box, or who collect Doom stuff, who just bought this because of that. So it was a whole new world that opened. Another way to if I put this online, these levels will be there forever. And if you play a level, you hear the music in loop. So
exactly. This was my next question. How would you? Yeah. Because you play for longer than, let's say, 3 minutes something, and so it's a loop. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a level. The tracks were cut that way, so they're loopable, and they're without the vocals. So some. I think there's one who doesn't have the guitars on it. So there are different versions, but the core, the melodies are still there, so you can recognize the song, and they're loopable. So and even one song, Synopsis, the first track, is actually written for the levels, because I had 6 levels, but I wanted to have 7 tracks on the album, and I was like, I still need to have 1 track, and so I thought, maybe I just need a track for the intermission screen, where you get your scores from that level. So if you finish a level, you get the screen, it kills 100%. I needed a track with just one heavy riff, and that's where Synopsis come from. It's actually just made for that purpose only, and we use it as an intro because it's very simple, one riff, 2 or 3 riffs, but very basic and very loopable. So the levels were made for the music, but music was also made for the levels. So it's two-way traffic.
It's vice versa. Okay. Anyway, but isn't 7 songs more like an EP? Because you say like album. I mean, it's kind of. I don't want an argument, but because I saw this is an EP, and for me, for me, it's an EP. For an album, is like 12 songs, and EP is like 5 songs to 7 songs or something. Anyway, just because you're referring to the album, I don't want to get into an argument here.
I see where you're going. I'm not thinking in tracks. I'm thinking in time.
I see. So for you, this is kind of a closed entity, basically.
For me, I think an album is 40 minutes. 40 minutes. If you start an album, it's 40 minutes. But that's why, and the album clocks in at 40 minutes.
Okay,
so if I always think an EP up till 40 minutes is an EP. Beyond 40 minutes, because the last track, Exodus, is like 11 minutes long. If we cut that up, we got 3 tracks. Yeah, it's an album. Then you have like 9 tracks.
I see.
So
okay, yeah. Thank you for your explanation. It was just my kind of Okay. I get the time frame.
The next album has 8 tracks.
So you're slowly increasing.
Yeah, but I'm still making sure it's 40 minutes.
I see. I don't know. What was the name? I saw once a band a long time ago. I'm a little bit older too. The Stormtroopers of Death, I think, or something. And they
SOD.
made. You know them. SOD.
Yeah, SOD is with Scott Ian from Anthrax and Dan Lilker.
So you know them, and their albums were like 20 minutes or something, and they had like 20 titles or so. There was a tribute to Jimi Hendrix, 7 seconds or something like this.
They got the album, Speak English or Die.
Yeah, I remember it was so funny to listen to this stuff. It was so, we're making their stuff we wanted to do, and it was just straight fast.
I even think there was a track on that called "Fuck the Middle East." And I think they were like really in your face, but in a fun way.
Exactly. You could not take them too seriously.
It was just fun. It was like, what do you speak English or die? Oh, what are they saying? And then you get those tracks like, there's a track.
Exactly, like 7 seconds. The tribute to Jimi Hendrix. Done.
I was the German band Liquido, who had one big hit, Narcotic.
I know.
Yeah.
The bass player with the hand, the hand problem or something. I remember. Yeah.
They had in the 90s one big hit, and they came to play here in Mechelen on a festival in the summer, and that's a bit after their famous period. So they were still a name. People know who they were, but they were like very cheap to get as a headliner, I guess. So they put them as a headliner. And one part at that gig, the bass player said, "What do you want to hear? Do you want to hear techno or do you want to hear metal?" And the rest of the songs were really straight, like Narcotic, very happy songs. What do you want to hear, metal or techno? Oh, and everyone was like, "Oh, we want to hear metal. All right, here's United Forces from SOD." And they went in like this crazy fast song. And the metalheads in the crowd were like, "Yeah!" And all those other people were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, see, this is a thing I really I hate if you kind of get bogged down. That's just you're only allowed to do one certain kind of music, because this is. I mean, I understand it, of course. You got famous for this one song, like Liquido, yeah. So people expect other songs like this, but as an artist, it kind of really it narrows your vision so much down. I mean, either you start a new band or a side project or something. But I also like, I grew up with Fate No More, for example. And for me, it was really like, wow, so many different songs on one album and from one band. How is this possible? So and this is still the freedom I kind of try to retain for myself, to not being just, oh no, this is not metal enough, or this is not that enough, and then that's why I cannot play it. So who cares? I mean, if it's good music, and I like the mix of it anyway. I like to harder stuff, softer stuff, and not always the same. That's my point of view.
Yeah, I can enjoy some good pop tunes too. If the melody is there, if the the hook is there, the thing that makes your makes you go, I want to hear that again. It's like now we had a review. And one very bad review was like 45 out of 100. And this guy really didn't get it. He was like, I grew up in the 80s. And in my day, in my book, a metal band was a drummer. And they played like this. This is not music. What is this? I cannot listen to this. And you're like, why are you a reviewer then? If you cannot open, you don't have to give us like 40%, 50, 80%. We don't expect that. But if you start your review with, I grew up in the 80s and I was this and I was that and I think I know how music should sound. I think it's good to have different influences. Like now, this I don't know if it's in Germany a hit. Probably is Hyper from Eskimo Cowboy.
Oh yeah, I really like this one. It's so funny, It's like for me, it's the perfect song kind of. It's heavy, but it's also synth and they don't take it seriously. Also, it's very funny. I guess you saw the video as well.
Yeah.
I even put this in my playlist and featured it. Yeah, so it was so funny.
The thing they know how to combine the heaviness with the catchiness of like the break in the middle is so boy bandish. What he sings, it's so, but it fits the music, so they know what they do. It's a bit of a shame because the new single is then, because a lot of people might think, oh, they're this band with the wigs and stuff, but then the next single is more metalcore again, less the techno gabber style that they did with Hyper. Now they get something different. So they do different stuff. So they're not only this fun band who just. But that's the kind of thing I like, putting that melody and then that heaviness. Like you get people hooked. Oh, it's so nice. Oh yeah, I like that. Oh, that's so nice. And then here's a slap in the face.
Yeah, exactly. No, I get it. I also like.
And then, you beat them up. You're beating heaviness. Take this, and then you're like, gentle again. You slow down, gentle. Oh yeah, and when they're all comforted and back at ease, you hear them again. Like that's what I wanted to do. That's why we also have this track Exodus from 11 minutes. I wanted to have 11 minutes, a song with 11 minutes, and each riff you hear is a new riff in that track. So you get, when I came to him and I said, okay, here's the track Exodus. It has 23 different riffs in it. It was like, oh.
23, wow.
23. You can make a track out of 11. From 11 minutes and then make it from like 5 riffs or something and repeat them. I said to him, I want a track where each riff is different. Each time you hear a new riff. And it has to be like on a roller coaster ride. Oh, you're riding. Oh, it's going up. Oh, yeah. And then you go this, like twisting and turning. And that's the feeling I wanted to get. And that makes it also more fun to play than just a simple chorus stuff, simple structure of a song, just keeping your attention there, knowing what has to come. And with the new tracks we have now, we don't have a track from 11 minutes like Exodus, but there's more that different type of riffing in one song. Trying to get that tension, that Spankracht, as we say, tension, keeping that in there, like. Also, because the machine is we're programmed, we're stuck to the click track, so we're very pushing against we're not playing laid back. We're really playing on the new tracks.
Basically.
Yeah, it's on really, you can really tip over. Just it's down. That's with the new tracks more trying to keep that bite,
the urgency or with this feeling. I get it.
The groove and more melody, more synths, more ear candy, that kind of stuff.
I have, as you were talking, I was thinking, I get it, and I think you're on the right path, of course, no issue here. But I also, I'm coming from rock and roll, and I also don't mind if you have a really cool riff, that you just, stand in front of his crowd and just play the riff for a minute, really milking it, really just like it's so heavy and I like this too, so I can go with both. I understand you as a guitar player. Of course, it's nicer to go around, to play different kind of things in a song, but also I guess you get my point. It's sometimes just staying with a heavy thing and not changing it. It's also a cool stuff because you're really getting in the groove and the mosh pit starts.
That's the thing with Exodus. That track is just really trying to be somewhat. It's not difficult to play if you know the riffs, but it's somewhat more technical. But then we got songs like Carnivale, who's just straight up Rammstein-esque riffing. It's the entire song just. So we like that too. But sometimes it's fun just to push yourself and try to become better as a player, because I'm not a good guitar player. I just play with these two fingers, and that's all. I'm not a chords, but I just want to riff and see what comes out. Stuff. Yeah, that's the only thing I do. So I'm limited to that, but I try to make that.
You try to make it count. Yeah, no, I get it, and that's a good point, because you don't. To if you have a nice melody and stuff, you don't need much. You just kind of complement it with your playing, and sometimes you. I guess, you have played in other bands too. It's sometimes when you have a very, how you say, guitar player who wants to be very prophilic. How do you say it?
Prophilic.
He wants to have a solo everywhere, and it kind of butchers the song. It kills the song, because there is no solo part in here. It's just a riff-based song, and if you do something over it, it just kills it. It kills the vibe. It kills the. Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm more like I'm an industrial guy. That's why I wanted to talk with you. Because this is kind of my music, really riff-based, just pounding, and like you said before, you're hitting hard, and then you leave off a little bit, and then you hit again, and this is really, really what I like. That's my kind of stuff. Before I forget, I talked with your manager, whoever it is, Mike, today, and I sent you the email he wrote back to me. So we have to mention him at least, because this is kind of a last minute. He wanted to be mentioned, and I forgot what's where he working for, the company.
He works for. He has his own promotional company. So Hard Life promo,
exactly.
So if you have a band and we brought out an album, he writes a mail to all the record labels or press agencies, magazines. He puts it out there, and he also says, if you want to do an interview, contact me and I'll get you in touch with the band. But I think he misunderstood.
I think so too. But anyway, I promised him that I give him a shout out like he asked, and this is what we're doing right now.
He does a good job. He he helps bands who doesn't have a contract. He helps a lot of bands who don't have a record label. We don't have a record label. But he's always willing to help. If you have a new video and you say, could you please put that on your mailing list to everyone? He will do that. It's just, he says, send me the press release, I'll copy it. He's a guy who's been in the business for years and years. He knows a lot of people. And a lot of people know him, Mike. They know Mike. So. Yeah, and it's easy to have someone do that. And he opens the door. You could send your CD to a magazine and they would be like, whoa. But if that comes from someone they know, they're really easy. Oh, hey, it's another thing from Mike. He knows good stuff. All right.
No, I just wanted to give him justice, like I promised him. I mentioned him. Yeah, and we I will mention him, and I also might link to him in the in the video notes and stuff. So yeah, he gets his fair share of things here. Anyway, yeah. Thank you, Mike. Now I lost a little bit my track. Is there something you want to talk about? What's I guess maybe just tell me what's your influences. You kind of covered already. So you do the mixing yourself, right? The mastering somebody else does, but mixing you do yourself. Yeah. And this is you're self-taught in this, I take it?
Yeah, so I started doing this with NDT. With Dr. Delta, I was like, always going into that studio, it costs money. So we started to record our stuff ourselves. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a learning curve you have to go through. The first things you make, they sound flat, or they sound too much bass. You're like, oh yeah, it sounds heavy, whoa. And now you listen to it now, you're like, oh my God, that bass is everywhere. So over the years, I got better and better at it. And then now I think with this album, I finally found the sound. I already had the sound with our first EP. That was an EP.
Thank you.
And so I already had that sound, and I thought, okay, this is a good base to start on. And now then we expanded that sound, and then I felt confident enough with the mixes. I had to send them to someone who we really didn't know, because we usually let our tracks be mastered by Mark at the place where we rehearse. He has a studio too, the Rhythm Cage. And we usually said, hey, Mark, could you do this? Yeah, no problem, I'll master. But I was like, I want to have a metal ear. So I sent it to Jarde from Project Zero Studios, who also plays bass in the band Carnation. Anyway, so like he gets a lot of stuff. He mixes himself, so it's always a little hard to send, because what is he going to think of it? Oh, it's going to be good. But he liked. He said, yeah, I can do a lot with these mixes. They're very open. I could do a lot of things with it, and it always sounds great. So I was very happy, and it felt like, okay, we finally have a sound. And we also didn't. We had it mastered less loud. That's something I want to pay attention to, because tracks these days, since CD, people have started mastering their tracks louder and louder. So usually your track is a waveform, and it goes up and down like this. But most tracks these days, popular music, heavy music, those tracks, those wave lines, the dynamics are gone. You get this flat, because everything is loud, as the loudest possible, through compression and stuff. I said to Jarne, I don't want this album to be mixed loud, because I want to put this album as loud as I want to put it. If you put a modern album loud with the volume, if you turn up the volume, you get a headache after a while, because it's always the same range of loudness.
There's no dynamic in it.
The dynamic is on, because it's always missing. It would be like if I was talking all the time like this, and you get nothing. So I was like, and a lot of details get thrown away due to that compression. So I said, mix it less loud, so we keep the dynamic in there, and I can crank up the volume and really feel the vibe. Because people say, oh, when I put this on, it doesn't sound good because it sounds less loud. Yeah, but if you should take a modern album and make it as loud as our album, so if you put down the volume, that new album will sound very flat and very bad next to ours, because there everything from dynamics has been squashed away. And that's something I really wanted to put an emphasis on. Like, there's a loudness war going on. Each year there's...
I heard of this. Yeah.
So I really wanted to pay attention to that. We're not doing that, because I had a course in loudness in a studio. We had a course, because I also work with... I usually do some... I'm a video editor, so I also work for TV sometimes, and I have to make commercials.
It's funny, you're a video editor and you have only one video for Spankraght.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, okay, you know. Okay, so go ahead.
And so I went on a course, because in TV they also have regulations, because years ago, if you switch from one channel to the other, you could have differences in loudness. So it could be, if you were looking like what's in Germany at ZDF, you were looking at ZDF, It would go to VRD. There would be a difference in sound. You would, gotta put this less loud. Oh, what's that? Turn down the volume. So the European regulations came and they said everything has to be the same level everywhere. Also in the States, they had a new scale of LUFS, loudness. That's LUFS instead of dB. They have LUFS dB.
Okay.
And I went on a course for that, and there they showed us examples in music, in movies, and since then I cannot listen to modern CDs anymore. I hear how bad they are mastered, and even products from well-known artists, they just sound. If you know what's wrong with them, you hear it. If you feel how squashed, and that's something I didn't want. I want this music to be as warm as possible. If you put more dynamics in it, it sounds warmer. You get this little warmer feel then, and that's something we found very important. The loudness to the music. It sounds less. You have to turn up the volume, but for a good benefit.
I see. Yeah, no, I get it. Like everyone is doing it, so. Yeah, but the good thing is from as far as I know, once the pendulum swings in one direction, there will be a backward swing, and then it will kind of get into the middle, hopefully again. So because it's not the first time I hear this loudness war, and I see it the same. I mean, as I started with recording stuff, I was like, it has to be like this, because loud so that I can hear it. But of course, you kind of have no dynamics anymore. You need headspace, you need, things that you can move it around, and also what I didn't know was this plasticity you can make with a sound, that something is more in the foreground and something is more in the background, and you have much more things to play around with if you allow yourself to have more headspace and more dynamics, more things to really play around with. So
it used to be also, if you. I think I started missing in music in the last years was the how you say it, when the heavy part, a song starts, say, with an intro, and then when the entire band comes, I felt that was gone, because everything is evenly loud. That oomph is gone, and I wanted to bring that back. Like if there's an intro starting, and then it goes, you feel that, they take it. And that's what you do with dynamics. You bring more, you put the emphasis more on experiencing the music, less than listening, but really experiencing, feeling it.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of, I always have this thing with punk bands. I like punk. I don't, it's not my most favorite one, but if you always do 180 kilometers per hour, always really fast, then I get bored after 3 songs, It's always the same. And if you just have one, half speed and you just with that, then you keep the listener more engaged, because otherwise it's just, I mean, I get it, for live it's maybe fine because people just want to mosh and just want to run around and stuff. Then okay, but for listening at home, it's kind of, I need some more dynamic, basically, more up and down.
Not just in song structure, like you said, you get songs that's slower, but even in just the music production. If everything sounds as loud, an entire album that sounds loud, you cannot listen to that the entire time, because it's tiring for the ears. If you put an album that's mixed, the brick wall compression, it's so tiring that you get a headache. It's then dynamics. It just breathes. It makes you feel comfortable a lot more than brick walling the entire thing.
And you can put more emphasis on special little things. You can put little things to the foreground. Where you kind of would otherwise have just a wall of sound, and it's kind of squashed because it's just a big wall. As we are nearing the, I told you I'm a strange guy. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do some workout. I want to get some muscles. And so, I kind of want to get it to a close slowly. But, I really like talking with you. We should definitely do it again. I mean, you're working on the next album, so there's more things to talk about. But before I let you go, I want to know, I mean, we are now in very strange times, with Corona and stuff. So how is the situation in Belgium with playing live is out of a question at the moment, I guess?
Yeah. There's not a lot of live things. There are. You can play a show if you want, but you have to make sure it's Corona-proof.
Mm-hmm.
I think
how do you make this show to be Corona-proof? Like,
you put people on a table. A table.
Okay.
Then
And
1
meter 50. Okay.
half.
Okay.
What is between them? Masks, that kind of stuff, and you're limited. I think indoors to 100 people.
Mm-hmm. It might depend on the venue.
No.
No,
just
okay.
100 people. Indoors I think 100, outdoors 200. They were about to change that again, but then the curve went up again.
I see.
A couple of weeks. So because the event sector and musicians here are having a hard time.
I can imagine.
Like a lot of festivals, Graspop got cancelled, Alcatraz got cancelled. Now this weekend was the weekend of Pukkelpop, one of the biggest alternative festivals here. So that got cancelled, and no one really knows what's going to happen. So it's for us. We don't play live a lot, so we don't really care. But for those who depend on it, it's a catastrophe, and nobody knows how, because there are already booking festivals for next year, and I'm thinking, but who says that maybe the situation here will be better, but what about America? I don't think bands from there will come to here to headline if the situation over there is still as miserable as it is now.
And even fans coming. This would mean traveling. That would mean foreigners coming, and this might be restricted and whatever. So
I understand that people are like, I'm booking Wacken for 2021, but you don't know if you put on the list of artists that are coming. You don't know if they will be even able to come, if even some of them will even exist. Because a lot of those bands depend on touring. If those guys in America can tour for the moment and they get nothing from income, who says those bands will still exist next year?
Yeah,
it's such unknown. Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. But we'll see. I to be honest, I found this period very interesting because I finally get to do some things I couldn't do before because of work.
For example?
Now, I used to draw a lot, draw stuff. So I picked up drawing again, and I'm trying to do that kind of stuff more.
Okay.
So, try. If you want, I can show you something here. If you put on my mouse here, I've been working on some stuff. Let's see. You see it now?
Not yet, but should come.
Not yet. Try that again. I never did it before.
There's an option to show your screen. You should.
On the bottom here.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
Bottom.
Right next to chat.
Yeah. Does it do something now? No.
I see a black screen. I mean, now I see. Oh, what is that? What have you done here? This is like a spider with a female spider with babies coming. Oh man, you got problems. You got problems, man.
Never got this.
Oh yeah, this is Judge Dredd, huh?
Yeah.
And
this is something I did for a YouTuber.
Okay.
So he does reaction videos. He wanted to have an avatar, and I said, "Oh yeah, I will do something." He said, "Yeah, I want something with dragons and zombies." I was like, "Okay."
You delivered.
So yeah, that's the kind of thing I thought. Yeah, why not? All the people always said you should do more with drawing.
Yeah,
stuff.
no, I will say the same. It's kind of like you could have done your cover artwork yourself. I mean,
for the next album I will be doing. I've got an idea. It's crazy. It's not this thing, eh?
This is gross, man. This is really. I don't know.
It's going in there, by the way.
It's going in. I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's some sort of a modern take on a witch. Witches in old stories, they got the kids and they ate them.
Have you seen the guy?
I'm going to take this away for the people. Yes.
Yeah, you got Lord of the Rings. The guy.
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. Not his first movie, Bad Taste, but the other one. Brain Dead. Yeah. This is kind of like where you got kind of back into the come back to mommy's room. Crazy stuff. I see.
So if bands are, so that's why I wanted to if bands are interested. Mm-hmm. But I'm still working on my portfolio. And the name is, I'm going to show it again with my name.
Maybe send it to me. I can link it to the video so people can find you and contact you for that. See, this reminds me because on Twitter, you are not Spankracht, but Spankracht and Skork. And Skork seems to be like your artist name for the drawing. Yeah. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Now
because I also have I do the Spankracht Twitter account. I do the Spankracht Instagram account. Then I did the Skirk Instagram. And I was like, I'm not.
So what is your bass player doing? Nothing. Yeah. Just playing bass, huh? Just hanging out and doing nothing.
He's learning the new tracks, but no, he does. Like I said, that's one thing I want to mention. I forgot. Mm-hmm. Because I mostly do like the social things. He's not into computers that lot. When he has to sit on a computer, he's like, the thing never does what I want it to do. But he's good with electricity. So he made the first masks with the lights. But then also we had the idea to make risers, like where you stand up on stage, do those things. And then we had an idea to make risers with a light in them. And with a foot switch, so I can control those with a switch. So we have two risers with lights in them, with different colors. And he made the entire thing. So he doesn't just play the bass and listens to what I tell him to play. But he also, and he's also, if I play a track to him, if I say, hey, listen to this, and he's like, nah, then I know we have to scrap it. Because he's somewhat. We were usually on the same level.
So he's kind of also a checking mechanism for you. That if he doesn't like it, it will not be good enough.
That was the same thing with Exodus, the 11-minute track. I came to him and I said, "Here's Exodus." I told him, I'm going to make this track 11 minutes. And then the day was finally there. I could show it to him. And he listened to it, and at the end he was like, "No." I said, "What do you mean?" I don't like the drums. And I was like, "Fuck you." I was mad. At first, I was really pissed off because but then as I saw it, I was like, okay, he's right. I have to change this. So and usually he also comes up with little things. He says, maybe if you could play this a little bit like that, or we play more in that kind of vibe, so we complement.
No, I think it's very important to have someone like him, because that's the issue. I mean, like you said in the beginning, the good thing is you are just two people, but this also means, you have for a long time until you really finish it and show it to someone else, you have no feedback, maybe from your wife or from your immediate family, but I guess they might not be in this kind of music anyway. At least for me, it's the same. My wife doesn't care. My wife likes K-pop, so industrial is farthest away from her. So I could ask her for opinion, but she wouldn't like it, so it's not really worthwhile because she's not the target audience. So anyway, my point is, it's good to have someone to kind of check on you, and because after a while you lose your, you're not objective anymore. And this is right, of course.
Yeah, for the album we did the mixing together too, because before that I usually mixed myself alone, and now we just I brought my laptop along, installed 2 monitor speakers, and we made a little studio in the rehearsing space where we at, and we mixed the album together. And we was like sometimes, I'm hearing this or I'm hearing that, or we were working on synths together, and he said, maybe, did you have a little uglier sound to that synth, or this or that? So yeah, and he also said it was fun to finally see that process and be part of that too. Because usually I did it. So it's good to have those extra couple sets of ears and just giving ideas like, if we put a gunshot there or do some. We had a lot of when mixing the album. We had those moments when you make a song, you're like, oh yeah, I like this song. Then you make a new song. Oh yeah. But a lot of those songs we have played already a long time, so a couple, 2-3 years. So we knew those songs. But then we went to mixing. We had to make sure we had that little extra chemistry again. So we tried to add something new to each song. So we fell in love with that song again. Like before we had, this riff is nice. Yeah. And then we added a synth, and we're now with the synth. Like sometimes when you play a song, you try an idea and you put it in there, and you were both like, yeah, that's awesome. This is awesome. Whoa. So yeah, it was a cool experience, and we're going to do that again for the next album, just because it just making sure you start to. I know when you work a lot on those songs, they grow on you and you get used to them. And I found that I had to fall in love with each song again. Each song had to be my favorite for a week until we started mixing the next one. That's the purpose. That should be.
I see. And did you take a break or something? Because sometimes it's good to kind of reset your ears a little bit, to kind of get the fresh ears on the project. If you just finish the song and then you just take, let it lie for let's say 2 weeks, and then you listen to it again, and then you can kind of when you hear it in a different way, because you're not oversaturated with.
With the new tracks, because when the lockdown started in March, we couldn't rehearse. We couldn't rehearse, do anything else. So I was like, okay, for every week that we are in lockdown, I will write a new song on every Tuesday, when we usually rehearse on Tuesday. So I was like, I'm going to make a song each Tuesday. The first 5 to 6 songs each week went okay. By week 6, 7, I felt I was hitting. But then I made something. I was like, at the end of the evening, no, this sucks. It's so meh. It's not. So I let it lay down, and I picked it up a week later, and I was like, well, that's not that bad at all. It's not that bad, because it's like you said, a fresh. If you listen to, put it away and listen again, it sure works. Yeah.
And how did it? Because for okay, I can only talk from my own experience, because I mean, just putting together a track is kind of easy. You just put in the drums, so just doing something is not that big of a deal. But I guess you know with yourself, sometimes you need to have a special, I call it the zone. If you're like in a special zone and you feel like, now real art can happen. Now you know something special can be. You understand what I mean? How do you have such a point, or how do you get to such a point? Or can you kind of force yourself into this mode?
I have to force myself into a writing mode. That's for this. In the beginning, I just programmed the drums. I made drums. That's a cool beat, and then started riffing on top of that. But this time, during the writing of the album, we had already had old songs ready, but we had to have new songs. So Reset Mankind, Exodus, those type of songs were written differently. We started with riffs. I started first with the riffs on guitar, and then I added the drums. So there's you can feel a difference in some of the songs. Some are more riff oriented and others are more beats. And this time I was like, oh, okay, I try to find some riffs on the guitar, record them with the phone, and then on that Tuesday where we should rehearse now, I just recorded them, each riff, and I didn't know if they would fit together. It was like, maybe they fit, maybe not. But because I'm a video editor, I usually get a lot of stuff, so I can really quickly put stuff together. And that's the same with riffs. I usually find a way to put it all together. So it's like there's not really going into a creative zone. It's more like a little bit of puzzling. And it's usually in the end, when I start adding the synthesizers, that's when I'm coming to that spot where I'm like, now I'm getting there. Where the happens. Where I'm like, okay. So it's usually late in the songwriting process that the little spark comes.
I see. Okay. That's
interesting. You get a guitar riff, that's good, and you start putting a melody on top of that, and that's when you feel that those two begin to work together.
When the thing starts to live, to really, you bring it back, you bring it to life, basically. Because before that, it's just a piece or a bunch of things piled up together, and then the spark hits. Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I just this time a guitar riff, then another guitar riff, record it. They're all on a timeline together. Chuck. Random order, and then I start making drums on that one riff. Make a drum on that riff. Make a drum on the other riff. A drum up, and then I start putting those pieces together so they match, so they go from one to the other in a logical way, and then I put on the synthesizer, and that's actually where the melody comes in. So it's really just
the groundwork first, and then comes the cherry on the top.
That's how you make a cake, you make solid cake, and then you
the frosting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And just so you never tried to have like a internet show or something, that you do a live show on the net from your rehearsal space or something? Did you try something like that?
The Wi-Fi is really bad there. The Wi-Fi is really bad over there. So that's fine.
Okay. I see.
Because it's really not a very good Wi-Fi over there. So. Because I already thought of like doing a live stream, just put a laptop there for the people to see when we just rehearse, but we don't have a good connection over there, so that's a shame.
I see. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for the insight and for the short time setting this up.
And the evil image you're stuck with now for the rest of the evening. That image.
I hope I can sleep well.
No, you will not. You will tell your wife, "Oh my God, you never know what I saw."
How is this? Do you have a name for this image?
No, I just call her the witch. But I have to also now make sure that when I'm sitting here in the dining room, and I always sit on my laptop in the dining room. So when I'm on the laptop, I'm doing my thing on the computer, the drawing on the computer. So the kids pass a lot of times here. So I have to make sure that...
I can imagine. Otherwise, you get the school will call you and kind of like, what are you in the kind of strange manga porn or whatever, and you can get a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's just it's like the entire concept on the album. It's just I don't know what it is. It's just sometimes just like the album title, "Thou shalt drown in the blood of thy children." It's just to mess with people's minds. They read it once, they're like, oh yeah, and they read it again, and no, I don't want that. It's just something you start thinking about. You look at it, and it's, what does he want to say with this? It's just just want to gross you out.
and I can get this, and I'm, I think. Knowing you now such a little bit, I think you're a really fun guy and a normal person, but this also means that you're kind of, we all have demons in us, and nothing is only black or white, and we have things that are not so good, and in doing art, I think, or I found myself, as you can kind of let these demons out in a controlled way, and you don't suppress them, and you don't explode one day in a rage of violence or something. So you have kind of find auf Deutsch ist es ein Ventil. You have kind of like a valve which you can open, and you let out a little bit of this evil steam, and so you have a way to kind of cope with not so nice things in life without hurting anyone and stuff. And Crossing Out, I used to play in a grindcore band, so I know what Crossing Out means. So it was like, this was really gross stuff we used, the imagery and stuff, and really, really bad. But it was just kind of to mess with people and to be, like everyone when he grows up, he wants to kind of. How you say, slap your parents in the face and say, no, this is not me. I want to have long hair. I want to have tattoos and all this stuff, and so for me this kind of and also it is this freedom, and you don't need to have this mainstream stuff, you just do what you want and what you feel like it, and the last point I want to make is, like you just said, with the witch you just showed me, this is an image I will remember. If you just sign, little happy rabbits in the grass, then it's nice, and I can, how cute, but I won't remember that. This one I will remember.
That's the same thing. If like this image of the witch, it's not going to be drawn. You can draw this with a lot of drips and curly lines. And make it really look there, but I think it looks simple because it doesn't look really. And it's the same with the album. You get nice songs, then you're like, oh, it's a good song, but the theme of the album is not the concept behind the entire album of this evil force coming to Earth to punish mankind by taking the children of a generation and using their bloods to drown their parents in them. Just to set an example it's nothing that you want to be happy about, but the songs are catchy. So you're listening, you're like, haha, it's a good song. But the themes behind them, and that's what I like to make people look at the cover. Oh, that's a nice cover. Oh, look at the colors, and then you go, oh, they're throwing someone off the church. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Oh no. Hey, you start to see that stuff. You listen to, it's a good song, and then what is he saying? Okay.
You're a little witch in this way. You kind of lure the people in, and when you get them, you grab them, and you got their attention, and then when you really show them, this is real evil and stuff. So I'm with you. It's kind of. Like Rammstein doing it still after such a long time, to kind of being talked about just for, I guess you have seen the video for Deutschland, and it's a very nice aesthetic video, and people would like, what do they mean? And so like it's just art, For me, it's kind of but they made it again so people would listen, talk about it, and this is good publicity. So in a way, you're on the right track anyway.
Yeah, people get their own opinion, idea with them. With the entire Deutschland video, people were like, oh my God, they're portraying the Jews in there, the Holocaust, they're laughing with the Holocaust. No, they're not. It's some sort of history of Germany and what went wrong, that they're not glorifying it. They're like, this is where we come from. This is there's more to it than the entire story with the black woman is. Who is she playing? She's playing
Germany, Teutonica or something, but the Germanen with the Germans.
At first you're like, oh, well, she's what's this? And there's blood. But then if you start digging deeper, you find those little nuances, those little things.
Exactly. There's so much to unpack if you really want to. But if you just want to be grossed out and not touching it, then of course, I mean, but then you're missing out. That's the point. For me, it's art, and art. There is. Or with music, there is no right or wrong. There's just something you want to say or don't. And if you don't want to listen to it, that's fine. In German we say, über Geschmack lässt sich nicht streiten. You cannot argue about taste. If you don't like it, you don't like it. There's nothing I can change you with that. But if you like it, and if you really want to dig a little bit deeper, you can find more layers. And this is what I think it's the positive with your music and or with Rammstein and something. There is something to unpack. It's not just pop music like da, 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 and there's no depth to it. To some pop songs. It's just like entertainment, or like we talked about Eskimo Cowboy. It's you can really see the fun part of it, but there's also more in it. And then there's a homage to the 90s. There is a homage to here a Scooter, hyper and stuff. And there's so many little layers you can peel off if you want to. But of course, if you just say, "Oh, this is a really stupid song," then okay, then it's not for you, and then don't peel if you don't want to.
That's true.
That's the freedom you have.
Yeah. Also, lately, I don't know if you know it, Poppy.
Poppy.
Poppy. Yeah, she used to be this internet YouTube phenomenon, really lollipop style music, very colorful, and she was like some sort of. She seemed plastic if you looked at her. She was like very.
I think
poppy.
I've heard of her, and I've seen her.
Constructed, very constructed, like she's a product, and now she cut her ties with her past, and she's all over the place with her music.
Okay.
So where she was like la 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 la. Now she's more like Mr. Bungle.
Ah, Mr. Bungle. Mr. Bungle is quite over everywhere.
Yeah. You should check it out. The album is from Poppy, and then her album is called I Disagree, and it goes from this Poppy, the first thing you read, she's like la 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 la, and then they go into corn riffs, they go into blast beats. Where you think, she used to be a very nice girl, she's now all gone evil and dark on you. Yeah, you should check that out.
Okay, I will. Okay.
And then there's another thing is Skinned.
Yep. Skinned.
Okay. SKYND.
Skinned. Okay, I never heard of.
And they also produce some sort of industrial music, not necessarily metal, but also very dark, very heavy, and every song is about a serial killer.
Okay.
but it's dark, but also very theatrical, and they use they have a singer, she's female, but she uses pitch shifters on her voice, so she sounds very high and very low, very you check it out. A very visual band also, so you check that out too. It's very awesome.
Thank you very much. Okay, Kevin, thank you very much for your time. And for the insight, and I have a feeling we have to do it again. Sure. And maybe when the kids are all asleep, and but thank you. It was very nice to talk with you. I will upload the video, and I will link to your stuff. Please send me. You might have an artist page, for your scrug.
I will
send everything to me via Twitter, and I will put things in. and then send you the end product, and then we will end up as a podcast as well. So we will be famous internet stars in no time. Just give me 10 years and we will be famous. Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Have a good night, and I try not to dream of any horrible witches who eat babies and stuff.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.